It's 7:10, and we're still waiting at the moment, due any moment, proposals from the UK government on a range of options to limit the amount that punters can stake on fixed odds betting terminals. Now, if you've been into bookmakers in the past 15 years, you'll certainly have seen one, may well have played one. These electronic machines look a bit like a fruit machine crossed with a video machine, and on these you can play high stakes slot machines, but particularly they're popular for playing casino games like roulette or blackjack. And at the moment, £100 can be bet every 20 seconds. And the machines account for more than half of bookmakers' profits. And the Association of British Bookkeepers, the trade body, is bracing itself for proposals from the government for consultation on reducing this £100 maximum stake to, maybe even as low as £2, although other proposals might see it to £50, £20, £10. We'll wait and see the detail, which is just arriving, I think, actually, as we introduce Carolyn, the MP for Swansea East, who chairs the all-party parliamentary group on fixed odds betting terminals. Good morning.
Good morning, Nolly.
Right, I'm going to try and read this.
I'm excited.
Here we go. Fine. I think it's as we expected. It's going to be a consultation for reduction to between £50 and £2, a 12-week consultation. I'm speed reading this as we go. How far do you think it should go? How low would you like to see these stakes go?
Anything more than £2 is not a result as far as I'm concerned, and I would campaign to keep it to get it down to £2.
Why?
Because that's the only stake level where it will actually neutralise the damage that these machines are causing. The bookmakers are bracing themselves for £20, but when you look at where these machines are, Ollie, they're in deprived areas. They're clustered in multiple bookmakers along high streets. Why? Because they make the bookmakers a lot of money. Who suffers? The people living in the community, who more often than not are either unemployed or on low wages. If the bookmakers can survive at £20, how can the people who are playing the machines sustain that level? They can't. It's impossible. It has to be £2.
But just give us an idea of how they make people suffer.
Oh God, Ollie, it's heartbreaking. I mean, do you know, just this morning when I was waiting to come on and talk here, the night security guard said to me that his sister's husband had stolen 600,000 from her to put in the machines. And that's just an everyday occurrence. Every day somebody contacts me and says they have lost everything, their partner has lost everything. People, there have been suicides over this, family breakups, people being evicted. It's tragic.
But what people might understand is it's not necessarily the machine that's to blame for this. It's the person who uses it, isn't it? Why don't these people have a choice?
But would we blame someone who has a heroin addiction, or is an alcoholic? We accept that is an addiction and they need help. We're not giving these people any help. The amount of residential care which is out there for people who have a problem to this is limited. There's something like 18 beds right across the United Kingdom for people who are suffering from this terrible, terrible, terrible addiction. And until you actually get into it, I've been doing this for 18 months, and the more I've looked at this, the more passionate and angry I get that nobody acknowledges this as a sickness, because that's what it is. And the machine feeds the sickness. The machine is the drug. Now, there's academic research which will clearly agree with what I've said, in that the actual construction of the machine is done deliberately to make it addictive. The sounds, the light, the sequence, the speed, everything about it is hypnotic for a lot of people.
There's other academic research, and I've spoken to the academics here on this programme before, who will say that the vast majority of people who use these machines do so responsibly, and that is the case. And the average loss, I think, is about £7 per customer, and that what they'll also point to is the availability of gambling elsewhere. And I think this is a big problem for this, isn't it? Which is that at least, and we can debate the level of supervision in betting offices, but at least there is some supervision in a betting office, and you have to do some sort of human interaction. When you go online, when you go online, you can bet as much as you want in your own kitchen and no one needs to know about it.
Well, you can actually get blockers. You can actually have blockers put on your PCs and on your iPads and your phones to stop you accessing these sites. Ollie, I'm not out. I don't want to destroy the gambling industry. I have no interest in that. All I'm doing is I've looked at a specific area of it and I have seen firsthand the terrible damage that it's causing. Now, the first sentence of the Gambling Commission report in August of this year said Great Britain as one of the most accessible gambling markets in the world. But the 2005 Gambling Act said that legislation should be regulatory pyramid. Therefore, the more problem, the more addictive, the more costly, should have more regulation. The place for these machines, if they've got to be anywhere, is in a casino when you have far more staff, far more regulation, far more scrutiny. In the bookies, there's very often one member of staff there. People on these machines get angry and aggressive. Why should anyone put themselves between that person who has a problem and the company that they work for? Nobody should be put at risk there. So no, I would say that we know that these problems are caused by the machines and an addiction to the machines. We have to do something, and the only thing that we can do is a £2 stake.
Right. Well, it's a 12-week consultation, isn't it?
It is.
You can come back in 12 weeks.
I will come back.
If not before. Thank you very much.
Bye, Ollie.
Thank
Bye.
you. Carolyn Harris, the Labour MP for Swansea East, chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Fixed Odds Betting Terminals, who's trying to give us a little bit of an insight into what it's like to be in the grip of these machines. We're going to speak to somebody who can tell us a lot more about that a little bit later on in the programme.